Welcome back, everybody. I am Pragya, and tonight on Divine Decode, we invite you into a realm where transformation is not just a concept, it is a lived frequency. Our guest, Tara, embodies what it means to rewrite your story from the inside out. Her journey from deep emotional weight to profound inner liberation, releasing 220 pounds and entire layers of outdated identities, reveals what becomes possible when a woman chooses herself with radical honesty. This conversation is not about changing who you are, it's about remembering who you were before the world layered its expectations on you. Tara's work guides women into that remembering, that shedding, that reclamation. And together, we are about to explore what reinvention truly feels like when it's raw, grounded, and energetically aligned. With that, I invite you, Tara, and I'm so grateful that you're here today, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, thank you so much, Pragya. I am excited to be with you. Thank you for welcoming me on to your show as a guest here. I can't wait to have our conversation.
That's great. Let's start with this. That I have a notion about identity, okay, and identity for me is a fluid phenomenon, right? It shifts with culture, trauma, expectations, evolution, personal experiences, and whatnot. So, when you think about identity, what do you feel is the most common false self people unknowingly carry, and what is identity for you, and what is the false self in that?
Yeah, what a great question to begin with. Identity has so many different layers for us, Pragya, and I think the biggest struggle for women, especially where we get caught living behind identities that aren't ours, is that as little girls, we are taught that we're supposed to blend in and not stand out. We are told that we have to be a girl that is seen as a good girl, as a successful girl, as whoever it is that is desired to have at whatever specific time of our life. And we're also taught that we're supposed to strive to be our best selves. And when we grow up in that space of being, it's so easy to lose ourselves because we're living behind the expectations of people that we love. And we're taught that if we are too loud, that we'll be called out for that. We get in trouble for that. So we instantly will quiet ourselves. Or if we're emotional and we're labeled dramatic, we shrink ourselves. So we learned that at a very young age that in order to be safe, to be accepted and loved and to be wanted, we have to conform. And when we do that, it causes us to live behind these set identities that really aren't ours. And I like to look at it as putting on masks. So, as a young girl and even as a young adult, and if I'm honest, Pragya, up until probably 5 years ago, I would look at the crowd of people I was walking into, or the group of people, or just a setting with a single friend. And I would ask myself, what mask do I have to wear in order to be accepted, to be good enough, to be wanted? And I would wear that mask. I would wear that identity to make sure that whoever I was with liked me. And liking me, being liked, became my currency. And that's how I lived. And when we make that our currency, when our identity is about being liked, we start to spend pieces of ourselves in order to keep being liked as our reality. And just like money, when you spend your money and you don't make money to replace what you spent, before long, you have a zero or a negative balance. And that's what happens with women when we're spending our identity, when we're shifting identities, when we're getting rid of our truth and not being ourselves, before long, we're so disconnected with ourselves because we no longer know who we are. We are now in a negative balance in our truth, in our authentic space.
I love that. And that is actually the best framework of what identity is. And it's so, so, so powerful and almost unsettling to me, right? To realize that you've been inhabiting a version of yourself that that was built for survival, not expression. And we sometimes, just take it up and we mirror it as ourselves. And um, thank you so much for the insight that you've shared with us.
You're welcome.
Um, Also, when I read about you, when I got to know more about you, I noticed this thing that you often talk about energetic clutter, right? Something most people feel before they understand. So, how does someone recognize when their energy is carrying more than their mind can articulate? And what is it? I want to know the whole framework of it.
Yeah, absolutely. As an intuitive healer, I work in the space of energy and I work diligently to locate within a woman's body where they're being blocked energetically. And the reason why I do this is oftentimes when we are feeling like we're unable to get through life experiences. We're wanting to accomplish things and we feel like no matter what we're doing, nothing changes for us. We're constantly feeling like we're battling against blocks in trying to become who we desire to be, trying to achieve results that we want to achieve or create these outcomes that we desire. And if we're constantly fighting it, most times what I'm experiencing is that when I drop into a woman's body, I'm finding energetically that we are blocked from different negative energies, whether that's imprints, foreign energy, stagnant energy, or discarnate energy. And those energy blocks are meaning that our energy is not flowing through our body in a fluid motion. And that's getting in the way of us being able to energetically show up in all four bodies. So we have physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. And when we're not able to fluidly move with energy, this is where we start to have blocks, where we have inabilities to feel like ourselves, to show up empowered, to show up confidently, to show up like we're able to make the changes or the difference in the world that we desire. And another way that it shows up is limiting beliefs. We are living behind these limiting beliefs that are doing just as they say, limiting us. So maybe you have a limiting belief that says, I'm not good enough. This will show up when you're looking to go out and accomplish something, do something, and you're excited about it. You are so excited about it. And then all of a sudden you realize that you're starting to talk yourself out of this desire that you just had. You once were really excited, and minutes, hours, or sometimes seconds later, you're now doubting it. You're now saying, oh, I shouldn't do this. It's not going to turn out well. Remember what happened the last time that you did this. You know you're not good enough for this. That limiting belief is in your subconscious space and it's showing up on autopilot and it starts to cause us to sabotage ourselves. So, one way to know, Pragma, that this is in your body is listening to your body, listening to your intuition. We all have intuition. We all have the ability to listen to our bodies and let it speak for ourselves. So, I love to be able to use somatic body speaking, meaning if it's a no, if you were to ask yourself, is this something I really truly desire to have in my life? Let your body speak for you. You will know if you want it. And if you know without a doubt, when your body expands, your shoulders go back, your chest shows out or like puffs out, you feel like your body is growing, it's expanding. That is a full yes. Your body is saying, yes, I want this, I desire this. Now, the opposite is if you get asked by somebody to do something and you check in with yourself and you ask, do I want to take part in this? And if all of a sudden your body starts to constrict It's like you're going inward and you want to just put your arms around you to protect yourself. That's your body saying no. And so we can be aware of what feels good in our body, what doesn't feel good in our body through letting our body speak to ourselves. Now, oftentimes, the reason why I bring this up is if we want something, for instance, for me, when I wanted to lose weight, when I was 338 pounds, I was struggling to lose the weight. No matter what I tried, nothing changed. If I asked myself, do you truly want to lose weight? My body would expand and say yes. However, I still wasn't able to. That was signs that I was energetically blocked. And I learned to start asking myself when it came to specific weight loss options, such as a weight loss pill. I would ask myself, do I really feel like taking this pill is the right choice for me? And I started to realize that my body would go into constriction, it would shrink. That was a no. And by doing that, I learned what energetically felt right for me to lose the weight. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that's one way to know, let your body speak to you energetically. Another way that you can know that you also have some energetic blocks are where you're feeling tired, where you're feeling like you can't get a full thought. Maybe you have brain fog. Maybe you're feeling really irritated and negative all of a sudden when just seconds ago you were feeling happy and excited and on top of the world. When things like that happen, that becomes aware that we're having some energetic blocks within us.
Hmm. That makes so much sense. And it's also fascinating, right? You mentioned how our body, it it just expresses the way our energy is feeling, and what we're feeling energetically, and what the energy is. And I love that, because sometimes, we often overlook the truths that the conscious mind it tries to tell us. And then there is body, our savior, which just leads us through it. So thank you for that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, you were talking about your weight release journey, and I'm sure it is not just inspiring, it redefines what sustainable transformation looks like. And that's great, right? So, what inner shift was the catalyst that made such transformation sustainable for you? And there must be some day when you thought that, oh my God, this is not what I want for my life. And I just want some transformation. So, what was that inner shift or the inner saying which came through?
Yeah, absolutely. It was honestly me realizing how negative of a life I was living. I was not the mom that I thought I would be. I had went through a divorce and was a single mom of 3 boys, and every day I would look at my boys and think they don't have a mom that they deserve. And I realized that if I wanted to make a change, I had to be the one to do it because I was living behind all of these things that I thought were quick fixes. And I was going through starvation, deprivation. I was struggling with eating disorders. My life was falling apart. And I intuitively heard, Tara, if you want to lose the weight. If you want to get through this, the only way it's going to happen is if you love yourself as much as you love your boys. And in that moment, I realized that I had tried everything to lose weight. I'd hurt myself, I'd punished myself, I had caused my body so much pain and agony and was mean. I was mean to myself. And I realized that the only thing that I hadn't done was learn to love myself. And I got to the point of hating myself and despising myself and hurting myself so deeply that I wanted to end my life. I didn't want to live it anymore. I thought that my boys deserved somebody better than me as their mom. And in that moment, hearing that download that know came from God, the universe, the higher power, I realized that the one thing that I had to try before I gave up was loving myself unconditionally. And that's where it started. And I started to speak kindly to myself in the mirror. I started to take small little changes, doing for myself. I ate healthier. I made all these changes one little step at a time based on love. And before long, the weight that I could never lose started to fall away. And in total, I've lost 220 pounds and I've shifted my life on the outside because the inside is where I started to change it. And that externally began to show up. And it had to start from internal in order to truly get my external to be what I desired it to be.
That is so, so, so true. And I totally, totally resonate with that because, also listening to you, it's clear, that transformation. It is not a single lightning bolt decision that comes up through, and it's always that one single inner instinct that comes up. Okay, this is not what I want, and there are ways life can be changed and transformed, if not changed, transformed, and in a good way. So that's commendable. I'm glad that it happened, and I'm so happy that it did. In your book, yeah, and when we see women, right, the patterns of power leakages, it shows up in such subtle yet universal ways, right? And um, I could not agree more to this. Like, so where do you see women mostly, or most commonly giving away their power without realizing it? Because a lot of time, um, we women, we just have this tendency to, always give out our power and to not even realize that, okay, there is something that you have to store for yourself. And they're just doing it for everybody. So, where do you see most women doing it? And what is your take on that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is a powerful question. It definitely gets me fired up. Women give their power away in every area of their life where they feel like they're being questioned, they're being judged. Anytime that they're around other people, we literally fall into the trap of giving our power away because we start to question whether we're good enough. And again, it goes back to those limiting beliefs. We question if we're pretty enough, smart enough, good enough, strong enough, talented enough. We consistently slip into people pleasing. And in doing that, we sell ourselves short. We make ourselves look like we're less than or needing somebody to take care of us because that pleases other people. Or we give away our power because we're consistently showing up in a way that takes care of everybody else. And we short circuit our ability to give ourselves care, love, worth, all the things that are important to us. We hold that back. We cross ourselves off our list of priorities in order to make sure that other people in our life are happy, that people like us, that we've pleased them. And it again, it's that currency of being liked. I think that that is the number one way that we women give away our power is that we think it's more important that we're liked by others rather than going after our dreams, rather than living our truth, rather than being who we want to be, rather than making the difference in the world. And I listened to this podcast, Pragma, just a couple of days ago, and I'm still floored by it about how women who lose weight fear, and I remember this, fear being judged or not liked by other women in their life because of the success that they've had in losing weight or being confident. So we women will wear baggy clothes to hide our weight loss success. We will dim our confidence. We will dim our happiness just so we don't make others uncomfortable in our life. And this goes with men and women. So we literally give away our power every second we can in order to keep people comfortable and liking us. And my take on this is that we women have got to realize that we are just as powerful, just as strong, just as amazing as any man or other woman in our life. And that when we rise up in our power, when we allow ourselves to be our truth, when we let our light shine bright, that and only then can we actually make the difference in this world that we're meant to. And when we can live happy, when we can live in confidence and peace and joy and know that every bit of us showing up is our truth, that's when we can shift the world in the most magnificent way. And until then, we will consistently live believing that we're living the wrong life, wondering what's missing, wondering why we can't find happiness. And we're never living the wrong life. We're just simply living as the wrong person.
That is so, 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 so true. And as a woman, I totally, totally get that. And this is hard time that we realize that, it's not our cup of tea to satisfy or please other people always, and to always give out our energy to fulfill theirs. And it is a natural instinct, I get it, but it's high time that we keep ourselves first. And this conversation with Tara, listeners, is a reminder that reinvention does not arrive with certainty. It begins the moment you choose honesty over habit. And transformation is not a privilege reserved for the fearless, it's the natural unfolding of anyone brave enough to release what weighs on their spirit. And if something stirred within you today, let it become motion. Examine the narratives you've inherited, question the identities you've outgrown, and take one aligned breath toward the self waiting beneath it all. I am Pragya Malvya, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, choose the version of you that feels true, even if she scares you a little.